So what we're going to be trying to achieve is basically this glass spline logo, this glass iridescent. I think it's called iridescent. What do you call it? Iridescent logo for batch motion. If you're not familiar with batch motion, it's actually like it's a, I think, motion design community. Sorry, a community for motion designers based in Nigeria. I think it's probably targeting Nigerians now, but eventually as time goes on, it's going to like just expand. So basically, yeah, so I just went on Twitter. I think I was trying to like come up with something. I just like had this random idea to try something. I think where I didn't see it, I've forgotten which particular site I saw that particular thing that I wanted to replicate. But I saw that whole glass, having what's it called, having your logo be glass and all of that. So I wanted to try something with that experiment. And the logo that just like came to my head to actually experiment was for batch motion. So batch motion on Twitter. So batch motion, yeah. So basically, I just like grabbed this their logo and I just tried to like use it to do something in my design. So I'm going to be starting from scratch now. We're going to like just be seeing how I did it. But although I'll probably just gloss over some particular steps because I don't really feel they are relevant for this session because they were just me trying to. It was just me trying to like find a solution for two things. Okay, we're not using. Yeah, we're using Figma. We're actually using Figma, so I need to open Figma. Either ways. Let's just open any file. E4, so you can see. E4, okay. So, people are joining now. Okay, so basically, it all started with the what's it called, with the 2D logo itself. Ideally, I think I could have actually, like, if I really looked really hard, I would have probably found like a SVG version of this because there's no way this like this, the way the logo is on their Twitter page, it's already like a rasterized image. So basically, it's no longer what's it called? It's no longer a scalable vector. It's no longer a scalable, or a vector rather. Yeah, it's no longer a vector. So I can't use this if I want. It's going to be like really useless if I was going to use it in my spline tool. So what I really want is actually just the logo itself, like as an SVG, just the white part of the logo itself. So what I did, like I said, I'm going to gloss over some aspects of it, and I'm also going to be sharing. I think I should have done that before this call. Shit. Yeah. I should have done that before this call, but I'm going to be like sharing the SVG version. But since I didn't like put it in a file, and since I didn't put it in a file, what did I? I think I can. So I'm going to just place it in this file and then share it on in the chat section so you can get the SVG logo. But then I'm still going to walk through my process how I was able to like make it SVG. But still, let me just share the SVG version so you won't have to like suffer to find it. Okay. Yep. Okay, so cool. Okay, just on group. 1 second. So batch logo. Okay. Yep. So I'll share this file. I'm going to be sharing this Figma file in the chat section. So if you want the design, if you want the icon itself, what you just do is just to coming 1 second. Just select it because you won't have this access if I share it. So just select it and then Ctrl+C to copy and then paste in your own file and then use however you please. So I'm just going to be walking us through the process. But basically, let me just drop it here. Where is the chat section? Chat section. Right. Okay. Yeah. So let me paste it here. So yeah, you can grab the file in case you want to just grab the file from the chat section. So what I did first of all, so let me just go through my process again. What I did to get it, like I said, I could have easily gotten. So this is like a trick that I use not just for this project and for other projects as well. If I need an icon in SVG and I can't get it, I realize okay, there's no way for me to actually get it. The version I'm seeing is like a PNG version or a rasterized version. What I just do is I save it. So I save the image, okay, save image as anything. Let's save it. So I'm going to save it. So let me open it so you can see them. So like this now, it has a background. It's even blurry itself. So but that doesn't what's it called? It's not a problem because it's actually still kind of clear the edges of the edges of the shape are still like really clear and visible. So it's not a problem. It's not going to be a problem. So the next phase of what I do to convert this image now into like a vector. So a vector means that if I like zoom in, it's not going to like pixelate, or it's still going to be like really sharp and everything. So you know how icons in Figma look like. So icons are different from images. Icons are in vector format, while images are in PNG or JPG format, as the case may be. So I want this in SVG. So to convert this PNG to SVG, it only really works for like images, like simple images that have like a very simple shape here. I think it works for complex shapes too, but it's better for images that like have simply a simple shape. So I knew for this particular I was going to work. So what I just do is that I open Illustrator. Illustrator has this tool where it helps you convert images. So Illustrator. So open Illustrator. Let's just give 1 second to load up. Illustrator. Cool. So just open just select any file, any design size. Then it doesn't really matter. So what you're going to do now is just to drag close. It's just to try to import your image. So what I do to import my image, I open like my file manager or my file viewer or whatever it's called, my file viewer, and then see that logo I just saved as a JPG just now. Like I said, let me still open again. I think most of us are here designers, so I don't need to like explain. If I zoom in, so it's going to be like pixelated. So I just drop into I drop into Illustrator. So depending on the version of Illustrator you are using, the options may be at the top. Because I think when I was using Windows, I used to see the option at the top, but for this one I realized the options are here. And Illustrator, I'm not really like too familiar with it, so I don't really know. But just try to look for this particular quick actions here. So there's this option there that says image trace. So you can just select it. So like I said, it works for very simplistic images. Like for example, this one that's just a couple of white shapes, just 2 white shapes on a black background. It works in this kind of scenario. So I do image trace. I'm going to select I think I select which one is it again? I don't really know. I don't remember really, but you can just try all of them, because all of them actually give you like different results. So yeah, default, I think it's default, so I use default. So default, let me go back. So this is, so you can see like I'm zooming in and you can see that the edges are actually like rough and everything. So this is like, it's still in image format. If I do image trace now and set it to default, you can see, I don't know if you can see the change that happened. Like it's now like really smooth, because After Effects has been able to convert. Sorry, it's After Effects. My nemesis is coming to haunt me. Illustrator has been able to like convert the JPG, the rasterized image into a vector. So like this, it has like really crisp edges, which is what we really want for our design. And like this, I can be able to separate the. Sorry, I think someone's trying to get in. Okay, so like this, I can now separate the background from the image, because it also it also vectorizes the background as well. So I can easily tap. First thing I want to do is after I do the. Let me go back again for those who may not get. So image trace default. So it converts it to like to like a vector now, and then you do expand. So once you do expand, like this, you can now separate the individual elements from the design itself. So one thing you want to do, I think why Illustrator is like really difficult for me to use, that it doesn't like, although there are layers there, but then it doesn't emphasize the layers panel as much as tools like Figma or Photoshop that I started them with. But then there's layers panel. But what you basically can do is just to click into it, and then select it. But you don't need to go through all this stress, because I've actually done the hard work and I've shared the file in the chat already. So you can just get the file from the chat section, from the chat section. So, but I'm just still showing this process in case anyone needs it for like future stuff. So I can just click into it and try to select. Select the elements I need. Okay, cool. Select the elements I need. Control G them to group them. Control G is like global. So Control G to group them. Then Control X to cut it. And then I can delete this background. I can delete all this useless stuff. So, and now paste the stuff I copied. So you can see now I have like a vectorized version of this. So what you just need to do is just export as an SVG. Keep in mind SVG, not PNG or any other thing. You can export as PNG. I think PNG will still work, but then it's best to like use this export as SVG, because it always gives like crisp what's it called, edges on any size you expand it to. But the JPG, they have like a fixed size. If you go past that particular size, it just grows them, it just gets them blurry and blurrier. So to export, I never really know how to export really. Control E, let's see, Control E, no, not Control E, Z. Okay, I think I know how to export, but like I'm not too used to it. So click on it, and then okay, right click, yeah, collect for export. I think normally it's always here, but like after I'm sorry, Illustrator like changes a lot, so I can't really always find it. So as a single asset, and then you can set it from here to SVG or whatever. So I can set it to SVG. By default, it's already on SVG, so export, and that's really the end. Select any folder you want to select send it to, and that's the end of what you need to do. I think it's having conflicting issues because what's it called, because I already have like a file name. But basically that's it. So that's it. If you have any questions regarding this, you can always feel free to reach out to me. I'll help you out with it online. So yeah, once that is done, I actually start the work inside of Spline. So let's start Spline. I'm going to like import it. So I think why I took it to Figma was that I imported I'm going to show you the results in a moment. So I imported that exported version. Okay, let's do this. So open Spline, create a new document, and start by importing your SVG file. Sorry. So SVG file, I think it's here. SVG somewhere. SVG. Okay, cool. So let me import. So for some reason, when I imported directly from the one I exported it from Spline, I put it into Spline. Sorry, the one I exported from Illustrator. When I imported into Spline, it was having like this very, very terrible effect. It was like this entire part of the star is chopped off, and that's not really what I want. So I had to export. I had to move this what's it called, the what do you call it? The SVG into Figma first, which is this one you are seeing here. Move into Figma first, and then export from Figma as SVG. For some reason, it worked. I think I even copy SVGs as well. You can actually copy SVGs from file to file, but Figma won't allow you. Sorry, Spline won't allow you to paste it there. So from Figma, when I paste it in Figma, I now export it as an SVG from Figma, which is how I was able to get it to work inside of Spline. So let's export as SVG now to desktop. Let me call it batch logo. Yeah, batch logo. Cool. So SVG. So yeah, once I've exported to my desktop, make sure you're exporting. If you're export like the entire frame, because if you export each one of them, it's just going to like give you messy results. So you want to export the entire frame, the batch logo frame. So that's it. So once I've exported, let's delete this one and actually import the one I exported from Figma. So vector. So like I said, you won't have to do all those mental gymnastics because I already shared the file on the channel already. So downloads desktop, yeah. So it's this one, batch logo SVG. So import. Okay, for some reason, again, like Spline just like has so many hurdles like that it comes with. It still has a background as well. Meanwhile, I didn't actually add the background. So I think what you just have to do, just go and select, like you see the in the layer section, you see them like structured in a manner that you can actually find all the layers step by step. So I think the one that's named shape 0 is like the background. No, shape 0 is on the background. Shape 2, yeah. So the one that's named shape 2 is the white background, which you don't really want. So you can just press delete on it and it's just delete. So you have your batch logo inside of the Spline, inside of your Spline tool. So you can now start doing whatever you want to do with it. So if I were to turn around now, like I said, when you're using Spline, it's best for you to like, when you're doing 3D work generally, using 3D software, it's best for you to like use a external mouse, because there's so many features that you lose if you're not using an external mouse. For example, it's harder for you to orbit on what's it called, on that Blender. Yeah, Blender has like a option here where if you're using trackpad, you can still orbit around your object. Orbit, by orbit I mean turn around like in a 360 space here like this. So that's what I mean by orbit. So let me just reset camera again. Reset camera. Why are you resetting terribly? Okay, so reset camera. If you like reset camera, just try to like center your object, somewhere. Resetting camera, it's resetting the wrong way. Let me see. Ctrl G. Reset camera. Nope, it's not working. Yeah, okay. I think I know why it's not working. Why it's not working is because any object you import into Spline, for some weird reason, the controls, I mentioned this in a former session before. The 3D controls always show up at the like edges, and that's not what you want. Ideally, you want the 3D controls to actually be in the middle, because that way it's better. Because if I spin it around now, it's going to just be spinning from the from that angle, and that's not really what you want. You want to spin from the middle. So once you've done imported the logo, still group it again, because a good way to reset these controls is to group an object. Once you Control G it, when you do Control G or Command G, you see that the controls leave here and then it comes to the middle, which is actually what I want, which is what you really want, except maybe in very particular scenarios that you really want the controls on the edges. I don't really have, but then what in this scenario you want it in the middle. By default, it's supposed to be in the middle, but once you import an object, it's always at the edge, and it always gives you like some wonky result. So you Control G it. Once you Control G it will reset the controls into the group for that, and into the center of that group. So that's basically what you want. Reset camera as well. Okay, and then you can now set the position, because position here is actually messed up. So set position to 0. All these are not necessary. You can actually mess around with your camera, but me, I'm moving them because it's easy it's just easy in case you want to actually like start messing around with the camera and stuff, and especially for beginners that don't know how to move around camera. So another thing I want to do, so once I've resetted the position X, Y, and Z to 0, 0, 0, you can see that it comes into the middle. So if I reset camera again, to always center the object in the middle of my screen, and that's what I want. It just gives me more control to my work. So another thing I want to do also is to reduce the scale, because I actually want it to like be a bit not too small but a bit small. So by default, scale of any object you import into Spline is the scale of any object you import into Spline is by default 1. You're on a scale 1, so you have to like shrink it. So most time I do 0.5. Let's see 0.5. If it doesn't know. So 0.5 for the X, 0.5 for the Y, 0.5 for the Z. This one doesn't have any Z elements yet, but just do 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. So it's going to shrink the object a bit. So I think 0.5 is it okay? Let's do 0.6 or 0.7. I guess I want it to be bigger. I can zoom in, but I want it in a situation where when I reset the camera, it just like gives me like an okay size. I don't want to have to like mess around with a camera and whatnot, because it's actually one of the greatest enemies of me personally in my line of 3D work. One of my greatest enemies is actually using like using the camera. So anything that will prevent me from using the camera, I always try to like do that thing. So one of the ways to prevent messing around with the camera is to have the object always centered in the middle. That's a very good way to not mess around with the camera too much. Except you're a camera approacher, that's when you can go crazy with having objects anywhere. So now that is done, what I want to do, because basically this is like a flat 3D object, like you can see that there's no edges to it. So what I want to do is like, this is just an extrusion. I think I really learned this one from Photoshop back then. That's why I was able to like do it here. So what you just want to do is select the group and then go into, okay, you can't select the group, you have to go and select the objects themselves manually, because you can't add extrusion to the group. So once you select the group, the object, which is shape 1 and shape 0, let's name them for identification sake. So this shape 1, let's say shape 1. Let me delete shape 1 or turn it off. Shape 1 is the external circle, and then shape 0 is the external circle, and then shape 1 is the star inside. So let me just name this shape 1 star, and name the the other one circle. So yeah, once that is done, you want to select both of them. Select both of them, select one of them and try it out to see. So rotate to the side a bit. So by the way I'm rotating with my external mouse is by I'm clicking my middle scroll wheel, like I'm pressing it down and then holding, I think command or control, and then like just dragging to just turn the thing around whatever position you turn down. Or you can also use controls here, but the issue I have with them is that they are like fixed, like it only rotates to like a particular point. You don't have that freedom to rotate as much as you want to rotate. So it would be great if you're doing 3D, it would be great for you to like get an external mouse. So that's out of the way. Just select your star, and then the circle, and then you can go into this section here. Let me turn around so you can see what I'm doing, because I do it from the front, you probably not see it too much. So turn around a bit, and then extrusion. In this section that's extrusion is written, you can just extend it, just press it. You can see that it's like it's adding like more, is it depth or height to it, whatever, let's just call it height. So it's adding more height to the object in here. So that's what you really want. You want to like add like some surface area to the object. I don't know if I'm using that word correctly, but yeah. So let's just you can set a figure. You can just stretch it as much as you please. Maybe make it chunky, or you can make it small. So I think also I'm just going to be using like, let's say 60. 60 is pretty cool. Although you're not going to like, because there's no lighting here, so we're going to just be doing it. So one thing I want to do, I want to turn on lighting, because if I'm current by default, lighting is turned off and turned off. I don't know if you can see here, but then there's lighting turned off by default on the which is on the objects. So I can't really, like, if I'm turning around, like, I can't really see that this is a 3D object. It's kind of like everything just blended together. So there's no shadow, there are no shadows or reflection or anything. So I think why it's doing like that is because lighting is off. What you just need to just to come here and turn on lighting. Why are you turning on lighting for only one object? Okay, before we turn on lighting, because this is where like problem we have an issue. You have to, like, I don't know if you're familiar with what's it called, familiar with Figma, like using styles in Figma. So that's one thing you need to do here. You need to create styles for your object. So on this material section, click on this small icon beside the material text. Click on it and then press plus to add a new. I'm using the Figma term style to add a new style, but in here it's called material. So you can add a new material and call it. Let's just call it default material. Let's call it default. It's called default material. So default material is what we're going to be using on most of our objects. So now I don't need to go and start what's it called, changing the materials on an object individually. I can just apply a pre-existing material to it, and it will just change the change the look of the object to fit the actual material. So now I can edit more globally. So now once you've done that, so you can see here it no longer has individual values of its own. It now has a material called default. By default, ideally, you should have like many things like this, but once you create a add a style, material style to it, it just has the material name, and then you can click on it to edit the material, and then you can now start editing the material for me and seeing the changes in real time. So let me turn on lighting here, like I said. So when I turn on lighting, I don't know if you can see the change instantly shows. You can see shadows, and it feels more like a 3D object now. So that's what you want to really do. So yeah, once you've turned on lighting and color is on by default, so let's just leave it like that and move on to the next step. So I think one thing I want to do again is I want to make the thing chunkier. I think 60 is not enough, so let's just do something like 100, I guess. 100. I don't know 100 have to do 100 will do. So if it doesn't look good, we can always come back to the material and just edit this default material, edit it, and okay, not the default material really, that's not weight is not part of default material. But anyways, let's just carry on. So now that's done, the things what we want to start doing is to actually start, because if you can see this one, you can see that it looks like really glossy, like it's reflective and blah blah blah. It has like some really nice some really nice texture and feel and look to it. So that's what you want to achieve for this one, because like this one plain white, there might be cases where this is what you're looking for. There might be cases this is enough for you, but this particular case we want to make it really glossy and shiny and everything. So let's go ahead to do that now. So we want to start, if you're familiar with Spline, like everything what determines the look of your object is the materials that you're applying to that particular object. I don't know if it's the same, it works the same way in Blender, because Blender is actually more complex 3D too, but Spline is like very simplistic, which is why I feel like it's more appealing for designers to get into. Designers who are used to Figma to get into. So the look of any object in your 3D in your 3D environment is controlled by material. So if you want this thing to look like a rock, you add a rock material to it. I think in Blender it's called texture, or in other 3D tools it's called texture, but here they just call it materials. So ideally I'm going to like start adding. So currently by default most objects come with like a pre-existing lighting and different color material. So this which is what gives you like this look. If you were to go inside and change the color, something else, you just change the color automatically. So that's only what you want. You want to like have like some like really nice effect. So first thing we're going to do is to add a glass material. So add a glass material. If I even go ahead, another thing I want to do is I want to change the background to black, because if it's not black, like it won't have like that premium look I'm looking for. That really like that premium look. I don't just call it a premium look, sure. But there might be cases where you're looking for something like white or something. And again, most times once you actually set glass on a white background, except you have other materials nested inside of it, the thing might be transparent. So let me just seal them what I'm trying to explain. So you want to add a new material to the default material. So just now you don't need to go and start selecting the object one by one. You can even select outside and then just come here. You see material assets. You see all the materials that you have in your 3D space, and then you can just edit it. So by default we only have only one material here, which is the default material. So we're going to start like adding, like tweaking it to change the look of our object. So we want to add a new object, a new material preset, a new material parameter. Yeah, parameter. So the first one, by default it adds color for you. So you want to change it from color to what's it called, to, I think let's do Fresnel first. Fresnel gives you like this external, let me change the color so you can see it, this edge lighting sort of. So it gives you like sort of edge lighting, and it's just pretty cool to add to your, to add to most of anything, most of the 3D work I'm doing. I always like try to add Fresnel effect. So by default let's leave it at white. I'm still going to be going back to my old design to copy stuff because me personally I've actually forgotten some of those things were achieved through experimentation, which is actually the fun of 3D. You experiment and then you find new ways to do things. So once you added Fresnel, you want to like add another one, a material again, glass, which is what will give it that glassy look. So by default it's just going to disappear because glass ideally is transparent. So it's now the edits you're going to make to it that's going to like make it like look better and all of that. So I want to still like edit the glass. So I think by default I actually want to make the glass, so you can remove whatever material parameter you've added. You can also remove here. There's option, you just go to the edge of it, you see either that eye icon to turn it off or the X icon to remove it. So I think I want to remove the color one. I don't think I need the color material. By default you can't remove the lighting one, but I think we want to turn off lighting, I think. So let's just move glass to the bottom. You can also drag. So yeah, I've dragged glass to the bottom. It instantly changes because before glass was above Fresnel, and that doesn't really give you anything. It doesn't really give you a look. So you want to drag glass under Fresnel or Fresnel above glass. So that's it. You can also start by adding glass first. In case you're confused about it, you start by adding glass first, adding glass material first, and then you come and add Fresnel. So let's do Fresnel. So Fresnel, where is it? Fresnel. Yeah, so that's it. So, and also you want to also change the option. You can also change the blend mode. So blend mode actually gives you like different looks and everything. So you want to change the blend mode from normal, which is it comes by default, to maybe something like screen. Let's say screen. You know how screen will look. Screen doesn't change. Multiply doesn't. Okay, multiply changes. Overlay. Okay, I think overlay is better. I think I like the look of overlay. Overlay see like has that backgroundish look. So you don't really see anything change because this, like I said, it's glass, and glass is meant to be transparent. So what I'm going to do now is just going to add a text behind it so you can actually see what you're doing, and you can see the effect it's having on the stuff. So let me just do the text, make it like really big. 200. Nope, 200 is too much. 50. Okay, cool. So I don't know if you can, if you're starting to see like the effect it actually has on the object. So let's do reset camera position again, and then turn this around. Okay, then move backwards a bit, and then let me drop the, where is that thing again? Okay, I think let's just do like this, reset. So if you can see now, you can see that this is text that's behind the you can see that it's having like this you can see the fact that this thing is actually glass. It's blurring out the background. So you can now go in and actually start making changes to the glass material. So by default, the blur is 10 by default. So I don't think I want a blur. Like I said, I'll be going back to my old design to go and check stuff. So if you turn the blur all the way down, it's just like be fully transparent and there'll be no blur or anything. So thickness, you can mess around with it. Let's see, 200. Refraction, 200. Nothing's really going to change until you start making stuff. So let me check my old design to see a couple of what's it called stuff. Wow, Spline, you're going to embarrass me like this. It's a shame. Okay. I think Spline has probably like unfortunately just quit. So let me just restart it again. Don't save. Restart Spline again. Okay, sorry, give 1 second. Okay, cool. Okay, let me load up the other one. So just I'm actually doing exactly what I did for mine. So there's glass first, and then there's Fresnel. Okay, So the last one, yeah, Matcap is really where the magic of your design starts to show. So Matcap. So once you've done first, you've added first, and let me see what my first nail layer on the other one. What's blending mode I set it to? So let me see. First nail here set to multiply. Okay, cool. So I think that's what I did here as well. So here I set my first nail layer to overlay. So I want to say I'll multiply. Multiply. Although I can still change it. Let me even leave it at overlay and see the effect it's going to give here. It might actually be better than what we have in the old design. So let's leave it at overlay instead. So I'm going to add another layer now, which is I'm going to call this one select Matcap for it. So to select another option, just press this drop down here and you can select another option. There's tons of other options you can mess around with and get like different results. But for this one, I want Matcap. So Matcap, like I think it's called material capture. It's the full meaning is actually material capture, but I can't exactly know explain properly what it does. But from my experience, I feel like what it does, like it adds a reflection of whatever object you are adding as the Matcap as the Matcap base. It adds that reflection to your 3D object. So here now, by default, it has like this ugly green stuff, and it adds as the Matcap layer, or as the material capture layer. So I want to change it to something I want. So this is where the magic of this Matcap really starts to show. By default, you can also select some couple of Matcap. There's some default Matcap options here. So I think I showed this in one of my previous sections. You can select whichever one you want. So there's gold, there's many stuff here. I think there's even one reflective glass. But all of this is not what I'm looking for. The one I'm looking for is that one that has like this iridescent what's it called? Shit. Why is this thing crashing my file is crashing my spline. Oh shit. Sorry, 1 second. For some reason that file keeps crashing my Spline software. Okay. So by default, I actually don't want any of the default Matcap stuff. I want this one that has like this iridescent stuff, which is all these like fancy, crazy lighting and whatnot, which is what I want for my stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to there's this site I got them from. I got like this pack of tons of material captures. So you can actually I'm going to paste it in the file a bit, but then let me just show you how I got it. I just searched for iridescent Matcap. I didn't even know exactly what to search for, but I just searched for this particular thing and I got some results from it. So iridescent Matcap, and I saw this particular one. So Sivka's iridescent gems and Matcap's pack. I'm going to post it in the chat, but this is just how I got this particular one. So in case you're looking for that stuff, you can also search for maybe chrome metal. Let's say chrome metal. In case you don't want iridescent, you actually want chrome metal, you can search for chrome metal Matcap. And these are just ways I find stuff for myself online. So you have to sift through the search results, but you're going to find something that's going to like really be helpful for you. So let's just go back to that one. Iridescent iridescent Matcap. So you can see Sivka's iridescent and James Matcap pack. Like it has tons of different Matcaps. So basically any of these ones you apply to your design, to your 3D object, it's going to like change them to like have the reflection of one of these stuff. So which is what we want for our stuff. So I'm not going to download this and use one of them. I already have it, but let me share this stuff in the chat. So copy link. So let me paste it in the chat so you can download it for yourself and use it as you please for your projects. There's tons of them. So you can actually have different results from what I have, like because you can experiment. There's tons of them to experiment and play around with. So that's basically that for that particular one. So once you've done, I don't know if you've known how to download from from Gum. What's the name of this big? I think Gumball site. Gumroad, yeah, Gumroad. So basically, just come here and enter 0 for amount you want to pay, and then you want this, and it's going to send it to your email. So that's basically how you download from Gumroad. So yeah, I already have that file extra in my on my PC already. So what I'm going to do is that with my Matcap layer added, I can just click on this this ball icon here, click on it, and then press upload image. So upload image, you can actually upload any kind of image, like any image at all, but then there are some images that are like tailored specifically for Matcap uses. So I'm going to look for those ones that I download. I think it's in download folder, and then it's let me look for it. Sorry, 1 second. Poster Creation of Adam. SVG. Oh boy. Sorry, 1 minute. How come I can't find that thing? Show less, show more. Oh boy. Okay. Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. I think I'll need to download that one again and unzip it and use it in my design, because I can't seem to find the one I used for my project. So let's just quickly download it. This is crazy. It's honestly crazy. Oh boy. Did have it. Sorry, 1 second. Did have it. You see it here. It's here. So why is it not showing in my file explorer here? Okay. Just pay attention. Oh, okay. It's not there for some reason. So let me just in the file manager. Let me move it to desktop, so I can actually see it. You can see it. So desktop. Wow. Okay, cool. So this is the folder. Once you download and unzip it, you find this folder. So Iridescent and Matcap. So there's tons of, like I said, there's tons of them. So just open. I think where I had found that particular one I used for mine. Because if anyone you add is going to like give you different results. So where I added that one was this multi-code was I opened the diamond folder and then I selected number 36. So they are numbered. So whichever one you add is going to like just give you different effects. So I selected number 36, which is one I use for my design. So you can see that instantly like start to have like this like really cool effect, which is what you want for this particular tutorial. So that's what you want to have. Let me delete the text now. I don't need text now. So another thing I want to do is to change the background to black, because like this with this background, like I don't really it's not giving that premium feel I really look for my design. So I'm going to change the background to black. So basically what you do to change the background, just click an empty space and then select this BG color, just like Figma, and change it to 000. Okay, cool. So you can see that it just looks more premium, and then the like light effect pops even better. Here, let me press play mode. You can see it pops even better on a dark background, other than if it was like a semi-dark background. So this is what you want for it first. So once this first phase is done, let me still see what other thing I added to mine, because I think I still added like a couple of stuff. Although this is the base, I think this is the base. But let's go on. Let me go and copy again. So let's do this first. And another thing I did was that after I had done this one, I realized like this. Was just playing around with switches and stuff, and I found this like really cool stuff you can do with what's it called, post processing. So once you click on this empty space, you still have these options on Spline to change your 3D scene. So there's this particular one that's written post processing here. So you can click on this. By default, it's turned off. It's always turned off. So you can turn it on, and then you have like access to like some more tools. So one thing I want to do with the one I want for this particular one is that in case I have when I have a design that has like really vivid colors, I want to like turn on this chromatic aberration. So chromatic aberration kind of has this like glitch, and let me call it glitch effect. So it has like this glitch effects on the colors. So like I don't know if you can see it, I don't know if you can properly see it, but it has like this really glitch effect on the outside of the object. So turn it on. By default it's turned off, so turn it on, and then you can also do the offset. So let's say 4. By default it's like 2. Do the Y to 4 as well, just anyhow you want it. I think 4 looks too glitchy. It's too glitchy. I don't want 4. I think 2 is fine. So Ctrl Z, 2 is fine, or 3. And let's mess around to more. So 3, and then I can still do blending mode to achieve even more different results as well. So blending mode by default is normal. You can change it from normal to like, I think reflect was that I did. Reflect is too dark. So just mess around with the keys. Let me not mess around too much and get lost in the whole stuff. Let me leave it on normal. So normal is fine. No, but normal is not dark enough. Okay, it is dark enough. So yeah, it is dark enough. So we want it to like, so what you want to do is to like, in case whichever position you've turned your camera to, you can always come here and do reset camera. It's going to reset it to like that initial resting state. So some of the things I still want to do is to also turn on what's it called, brightness. So but by default, when I turn on brightness to make it brighter, but there's this option I realized that you can also still press this blending mode and do like overlay and have like even a darker background, and it has like just this really nice effects to your design. So you can just mess around with this what's it called keys here. Another thing I also did also was turn on noise for mine. So there's this option noise. I don't know if you know noise. I always use noise in most of my designs just to give like this grainy texture. So if you look at this particular edge, it's technically smooth. Let me just call it smooth. Yeah, let me call it smooth. So let me turn on noise now. So you can see what noise. It's not like this static what's it called, this old TV stuff. So what we're going to do is also still like mess around with the blending mode as well. So the blending mode, I can change it from screen. I think by default is on screen. So you can change it from screen to something like, let's say, overlay. So overlay, it just has like this, I can't explain it, like I can't explain it, just like gives it like this textured, really textured look to the what's it called, the sides that have like that are receiving light. So that's what I want. I don't know if that's what you want, but you can mess around with the options and see what results you are okay with. So that's what you want to do. You can also turn the stuff to different angles and just see which angle you like the most. So initially when I got to this, I was like, okay, you know what, I'm done with this particular thing. So if you turn the thing different ways, you're going to just be having like different vivid colors, different, because of the Matcap layer that you applies to. So like I said, the Matcap layer is really the what's it called, is really the where the beauty of your work really starts to shine. So now that's done. Now that's done, you can also still go to the material panel and still like add stuff. So click on the default material. Okay, go default material, connect, and then I can still like add. Let's see if I were to play with the blending mode with Matcap layer. Okay, multiply doesn't work, screen doesn't work. Screen, I think screen is okay. Screen still has like this really nice cool effect. Let's see normal. Let's see without normal. Let's not play around small. So another thing I still do sometimes is like if I still want to like to have like to be tinted, because mine, if you look at mine has like this purplish, more of this purplish hue to it. So that's what I want to like really do for this one. So I can still go into my material, click on it, select the material, the default material, and then what's it called, add another extra material to the material layer, so to the material section. So you can leave it a color, or maybe go to, if you want like something really nice, you can go to depth is also a color, what's it called, color a preset, color pre, I don't, parameter as well. Gradient is also a color parameter as well. I think you already know this thing. Gradients is I have two different colors, but then I want plain color for this one, so I'm just going to select a plain color and move it to like purple sort of, and this purple. And then here is where the magic really happens. You can then do like what's this thing called again? Blending mode. So blending mode is this icon here. Anywhere you see this particular icon on objects, you can click on it and then you see the options to blending mode. So you can see multiply, what multiply gives you. Most times you don't really know what the result is going to be like, so until you try it and see what it gives you. So you can see what the screen gives you. And then overlay. So overlay is really the nice one. It's one that has that nice effect I'm actually looking for. So I think overlay is fine. So let's just move on to the multiple animation part quickly before our time runs out. So making it move now is where the fun really is, because if you turn it around, you can see when you turn the design around, it actually catches the light from different like interesting angles. And me personally, I like the I can't really explain this phenomenon, but when if an object is looking directly at you, it's okay, but if it moves to the side, it's more interesting. Like it's more interesting, and then when it moves to the side and then up in a sort of manner, it just like looks even more interesting. Like I can't explain this phenomenon in design, but it just looks more interesting like this than if you were looking just straight at you. Even though I had colors in it would still not be as interesting as if I had moved it. Sorry. Okay, reset. If I had moved, so the way I'm moving, I'm not actually moving the object. I'm moving my camera, and I'm orbiting around the object by clicking down on my clicking down on my mouse scroll wheel, and then holding control and just turning around. So that's how it works to orbit around. You could also still use, like I said, you can also still use this stuff, and also you can also still change camera by pressing isometric. So isometric gives you like this isometric view of your 3D scene. So let's just do reset camera to just come back to the initial view. So let's make it move now. Let's make it move before our time goes. So by default, you're not going to be able to see it. Okay, let me turn to the side so you can be able to see some part of it. So let's see. So you can also export. You can export some part of the design. You can export like this. Press export and export as a JPG. Okay, there's a message in chat. Let me see that is. Okay, yeah, grainy feel too. Yeah, grainy feel. It has that grainy feel too, which is why I added the what's it called grain. Even in my design on Figma, I still add grain again because that grain in Figma, this grain here does not move. The grain in Figma moves. I don't know if you're in the last session, but like I had to go and download this what's it called this what do you call it? This is animated green, animated white noise that I added to my design, made it more interesting rather than just adding like a visual what's it called static noise. So in making it move, you want to first of all reset. You can reset the camera. So reset the camera just to have like a sense of where you're starting from, and then let me turn on the light a bit because I think it's a bit dark. Once we're done, we can always go back and reduce the light. So like this now, you want to go back to the layer and actually start selecting your individual elements. So I want to select, by default I could just select the entire batch logo or the group that I have, the group I've created, and apply like a states and events to it. But I want them to move separately. I want the star inside to move separately. I want the what's it called circle to move separately. So I want to apply states and events to them individually. So you want to select the star first. Let's select star first, and then add a new states to it. So new state you want to add to it. New state you want to add to it. Okay. New state you want to add to it. You by default, and if you're familiar, okay, like I said, this thing is only really common for people that like we're used to like prototyping on the Adobe XD. So Adobe XD, the way it does prototypes, you create a base state, what's it called, base state, default state, over state, and whatnot state. But in Figma, it doesn't really work like that. So, anyways, let's just say carry on. So once you press plus to create a new state, by default, the new state is just like a carbon copy of the former state that you are pressing plus from, pressing duplicates from. So what you want to do is in the new state you can turn things around. So by default, I think, like I said, it's having that corner, it's having that controls at the corner, so you can just press group. So when I've grouped it, I'll have to now apply those parameters I applied to this star. I will now apply them to the group instead, because I can't have accurate results if I'm turning from the edge. So like this, to be turning from that edge, I don't know if you get, I want you to turn, I want the what's it called, the full, you may call it the fulcrum point to be in the middle. So that's what you want. So I think I'll just delete these states from this thing and press G and call this group star. So the star group has a star vector inside of it. So I'm going to group the circle as well and call the circle group circle. Okay, so we have little time. So on the star group, I'm just going to select the star group and then press states. This is the state. So you can, I don't know if you can see now, the star group has a fulcrum point at the middle, and if I turn it, it's going to be turning like from the middle. Not that one that was turning from the, I don't know how to change the fulcrum point from edge to wherever I want. But what I do is I just group the thing. Or once you group the object, it's going to like restore that this control point to the middle. That's what you want. So once you've done that, create like a new state, and then this new state you can just turn it around. Let's say by default, let's just do 360. Should we do 360? Let's do 360. Okay, and should we do 360? Let's just do minus. So I want it to turn to the left hand side, so it's going to be minus. You can also see the results here by just scrubbing on click on the Y and then scrub left, scrub right. So I think I prefer it to move this way instead of to move that way. So I want to move to the left instead, to turn to the left. So let's just do minus 30 to like have like a nice turn. And I think I was actually trying to look for the turn that has like the most. Let me switch the background to black again. That has the most like vivid lighting, because depending on how much you turn the how much you turn the object, I realized that lighting was always different. So I wanted a turn that would actually like give me like really good lighting. So let me show you what I mean. So you can see I'm turning like this, like it has more lighting here. So if I turn it like this, so I was looking for the turn that had like the most vivid and the most interesting and like really nice looking lighting. So I think I ended up with let's just do minus let's just do minus 40 and see. Minus 40. So in your own spare time you can actually like customize it, like drill down to the details to have like something that looks what minus 35 that looks really nice. But for this one, let's just like do anything. Let's just try to like do something that looks good just for the sake of tutorial. So once you've done that, which is on the style group, you can now add an event. So let's add an event, and then click on it to add an event, and then you can select transition. So select by default transition is what I select. But if you want to like add a sound or something like that, you can select sound, create object, blah blah blah. So just press transition, because once you transition from the base state to this new state, so click on this place, click on the transition state to open the details, and then you see the options. Sorry, so let's even play it. By default it will work like this, so let's play it. So you can see it works, it turns, but then it doesn't like do anything other than this turn. Like, it doesn't like turn, it doesn't do any other different thing. So that's not what you want. You want it to turn back and forth, back and forth. If you remember in the last session, I mentioned something about ping pong. So ping pong, in one of my sessions, I mentioned something about ping pong. So ping pong is what we're going to do. Ping pong means you should go back and forth from the base state to from the base state to default state, base state to default state. So that's what you want to do. So the option is down here. So what you do first, press select on the loop section. By default it's unknown, so you can set it to infinite. I want it to like loop infinitely, and then the cycle that shows up, you press ping pong. So once you've done that, let's see the result. You can see it turns, it just keeps bouncing back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So let's not drill down to the details too much, because you can actually still set delays and stuff. If you don't want it to like start instantly or whatnot, let's add one delay here, one to this delay. So this one means that it should delay one before it starts the entire sequence. So there's still another delay inside of this place. Once you select this ease in and out, you can click on it, and then you see options. If you want a linear turn, if you want a linear animation, you can select linear. All this, I'm not really going to mess around with them because they are stuff that are on Figma as well, so you can just use that Figma knowledge here. So the duration is 1, and then the delay, it doesn't have a delay. So here I'm going to like add a delay of, let's do 1. So this delay here is so that it's okay, yeah, so that it turns, stops, wait for 1 second, and then turns back. So you can actually set a smaller delay just to like add a slight a slight moment of so to allow the user to enjoy the view for like a slight moment. So let's do 0.5. We don't just be turning back, like bouncing back and forth, without the user enjoying like a moment here of the thing's view. So we're going to do the same for the circle as well. The circle, so select the circle group, the group that's housing the circle, and then create a new state for it. So in this new state, turn it like to the left, but then the thing I do is that I try to turn it like a different. I think the circle, the star is turned minus 35 degrees, so I'm going to turn the circle like, let's say minus 25, I guess. Although I think I'll turn them the same way, because I want them to catch the light in the same way in here. So, oh no, it's actually a cool exploration to do. Let's not make it turn the same. Let's make it like turn minus 25. So this star is turning minus 35, the circle is turning minus 25. So let's do that for on the y-axis. I forgot to mention on the y-axis. So that's what you want. Although I'm going to tamper with the y-axis and the x-axis as well, but then let's just leave that for now. So once you've done that, you can now add an event to it and set it transition. Click on transition, select what's it called, easing. By default it's already easing and out. So let's even play it. It will even work like this. So you can see it turns faster than the circle turns faster than the than the star, and it doesn't go back because there's no ping pong applied. So you can just go back and start actually applying all those ping pong and whatnot. So let's say apply loop, infinite loop, cycle ping pong, and let's see how it works. So it bounces back, just goes back and forth. There's no pause in between. So let's not to add that pause now, for it to pause when it gets to state 2 before it goes back. So we have to click on the animation type, which is easy out, and then set this delay here to let's do 0.5 as well. 0.5, okay, and press play. So turn. So this is just basically how I did my animation. I think this is actually the longer shot of it. Although nothing I also did for mine, because like this, I'm only turning like them on the y-axis. What I also did as well was I also still added the cameras to mine, and also still what I did was selected the entire group, and then I didn't do that. Did I do that? Yeah, I also like added like a x-axis rotation, an x-axis rotation. So let's do x-axis rotation. So x-axis, I want you to like still show the bottom of the, because like this is only showing the sides, like the left and right sides of the circle. It's not showing like the top and bottom. So because they are out of view, so I'm going to just like set the x of the circle to minus on that is which I'm making the change on the new state I created. So minus let's do minus 13. Okay, minus 13 is too much. Let's do, our time is almost up. It's even up self. Okay, it's almost up, 2 minutes more. Minus 10. Okay. You understand is an interesting angle. So like I said, what you're looking for is actually interesting angles. Just mess around with it until you actually find an interesting angle. Like you don't have to use mine, but I'm just using mine because I'm trying to like do exactly what I did on my old design here. So -10 for the X rotation of the circle, and for the star as well. I'm going to do -10 as well for the X rotation, -10 as well. Take note, I'm making all the changes on the new state. If I go back to base state, like it's facing front, like it's facing the camera directly, so it's not going to do anything. So base state of the circle facing front. So let me play now. So I don't know if you can see now. It turns sideways. It also turns upwards. I don't know if it makes sense. Turns upwards, sideways, upwards, upwards, sideways. So that's basically how you actually create this kind of simple, basic interaction. And then I do exporting. I talk about exporting every single time I like have this what's it called session. So exporting, I either do a screen record. I can actually do a screen record, or I go on to what's it called do the because before I used to have an issue with Spline's export. I used to like make my file kind of slow, but I think recently has been working really fast. So just all you can do is just do export here, and then there's a video option. Even a GIF option, but that GIF option I don't trust it at all. At all. So just select MP4, and then set the FPS to 30, set the ratio to 1 to make it small in size, set the megabits to 60. So you can tweak these settings here however you desire here, but basically I'm just giving you so that you can have something to work with. So once you're done, just press start. Once you press start, it's going to give you these controls. So you can press when you're ready to start recording, just press start. To start, you show you this like these red borders, and then to start playing the animation. And then once you're satisfied with what you've seen, press stop. Once you press stop, it will do this processing, and then to now show you the name. So you can now save it as whatever you want. So let's just call it what's it called? Batch. Anything really. I don't really care about names. So batch, and let's play it. Download. So you can see this is the file I just exported, and that's basically it. So you can see this is why I hate splines. Here it's looking faster than what it was actually playing, what it was actually in the spline. But anyways, that's how I work. And then I can convert this to GIF and then use my design. So next what we're going to do is like just be using it in a what's it called in a UI design. I've already gone ahead to like do like explorations for it already, although like it's not finalized yet. But this is like the basic version of it. So before next week we're going to like integrate things like a UI, build a UI around it, and just make it like a really interesting visual composition. So if you can try to like make it for the next one. So that's basically everything. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Now this is time to ask. If not, we're done with we're done with the meeting. Thank you for coming, and I really appreciate those who came. So if you have any questions, go ahead and ask. And again, if you ever feel like you have questions, even while you're trying to like replicate this, feel free to reach out to me and ask. I'm going to also post this work on YouTube, so try to follow the YouTube channel in case you want to like have something to go back to. I think it's Olunaga. You can go 360 of course. You can do whatever you want. You can go 360, 367, whatever you want. So let me just post the YouTube channel here on what's it called here on the channel as well. I think so in case you want to find it, let me show Victor. Just search for Misha Victor on YouTube and you find my name there, and that's basically my channel which I post this design every Sundays or Mondays. I post them there. So in case you want to go back to watch it and learn about it, that's basically it. So we've come to the end of today's design session. Thank you very much for coming. I really appreciate those who try to make it out of their busy schedule. So we'll see you next week, and once again, thanks for coming. Have a lovely weekend. Bye.